In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the draft edit function of Hydra Lister. So basically, all you'll want to do is dump in your ASIN numbers or your product URLs from other suppliers. For Amazon, you only need the ASIN number. If the item has a variation with Amazon, you no longer need to specify the variation this way. For Amazon items, you just need to use the correct ASIN number because each variation has its own ASIN. And I'll show you that in a little bit. But basically, just grab your product URL. This item has a variation. So I'm just going to grab the URL. I'm going to take out everything after the question mark because it's unnecessary. I like to use clean URLs. And since this has a variation, you'll want to do the variation exactly how the supplier has it. So this one is 60-inch, a space, another dash, a space, and the word black. Notice that inch is lowercase I, and black has a capital B. Now this is a two-part variation, so you would assume that we would need to separate them with a vertical line. However, if you don't need to make two different selections in order to add this item to cart, then this is considered one variation. Overstock does theirs a little bit differently sometimes, and each supplier is different. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to put a semicolon, 60-inch, space, hyphen, black, and that's the variation. Okay, so the other item that I have here that I'm going to dump into a draft batch is this camping chair. And notice how I said if the item has a variation, you have a different ASIN number for each variation type. In order to find them really quickly, you'll come down underneath the feature bullets. There will be a link that says however many sellers it is and new. So you'll click that. This takes you to the product listing page. And what you'll want to do is make your selection. So if I have it set to to black, then you'll see that the ASIN number ends in, let's see, 90ZQ. But if I change this to blue, instead of ending in 90ZQ, the ASIN number ends in 910A. So each variation has its own ASIN. All I need to do for that is just grab the ASIN. Now, for all other suppliers other than Amazon, since Amazon uses its own ASIN for each item and each variation, the titles, the description, the images will always change with Amazon items as long as you're using the correct ASIN. For other ones, like if I were to list, in addition to this 60-inch one, if I were to list the other variation, let's just say I wanted to do a 72-inch cappuccino. Okay, if I did that, and notice this one's different. There is no dash between the size and the color here. So this one will be done a little bit differently. If I did that, I'm just going to copy this here. Paste. I'm going to change this to 72. Now there's no dash in between the color. It's just a space and the color. And with Overstock, you do not need to include the dash and the price in the variation. So like that's what I would do here. But the problem with these other suppliers that have variations is that the titles, the images, the descriptions, and such do not automatically change. So if they hit eBay first, you can get slapped with duplicate listings, even though technically they're not duplicate listings because you're meaning to list different types of that same item. Because the information was not changed before it was posted, eBay will flag you as a duplicate listing. So you'd want to make sure if you're doing that you'd go ahead and get that information changed before you list it. The problem as far as draft listing, the problem with doing more than one type for a variation in a draft listing is that once it goes over to the draft list tab, you don't necessarily know which one you're working on. It doesn't tell you. So my suggestion, and it will always remain my suggestion, is to do single item listings on your variation items. But I'm just going to hit add as drafts. Now if you want you'll select your marketplace. You'll select your marketplace, USA or UK, whichever platform you're selling on. If you wanted this batch in particular to have a different formula than your default settings in Hydra, then you can hit add custom formula, and you could specify a new formula by entering values into this wizard here. You can test that formula by hitting the test formula button, or if you made a mistake and you don't want to do this, you can hit cancel. And now instead of hitting add new batch, if you just do add new batch, the items are going to go into the queue just as is. You're going to hit add as drafts. That way, when you do that, it's going to take about 10 minutes. It says the items have been queued as drafts. It will take about 10 minutes. The items will carry over to the draft list tab, and this is where you can do your editing. Now, on this screen, you have ability to just click in the title boxes. I don't even know what this item is. This is a salt and pepper shaker set. So you have ability to just click in the box and start typing a brand new title. Salt and pepper shaker set, kitchen accessories, this kitchen counter, table, accessories, whatever you wanted to do here. Okay, and you can press enter. Now, boom, your title has changed. You'll notice that there's a number by the title. This is a character count. So if you reach above 80 characters, which is the limit for eBay, it will turn red, and you'll know that you need to have less characters in your title. On this page, you also have ability to change the category, but you need to know the category number. You could specify the category here. You can change the brand. If I did not want the brand here and I wanted to put something else, I could do that. And you just press enter and move on. You could use the MPN if you have UPC codes. You can put those in, MPN. I'm just making up something random right now. But you could do that, and the UPC code. Okay. So, you could enter in the UPC. ISBN, this is only going to be applicable for books. So you can just quickly run through, your options are you can quickly run through and edit things such as title, category, brand, MPN, UPC, and ISBN all on this page. Okay, if you needed to edit anything further, you can go to that item and click the edit button. It looks like a pencil, and you'll come down, and here you can edit everything, and it looks just like a single item listing. Okay, so you can change anything on this listing as you normally would. Let's switch to editor, and I'm back here. You can change any of that information that you want. And you see my title is the same here. I can override my pricing if I needed to. Change anything in this listing that you're normally changing. My pictures are broken, so and that's because I've had these items in my draft list for months. I just have not listed them. So, you have ability to upload new pictures, edit them, etc. And then you have ability from here to either click List Draft. This will automatically queue the item to be listed to eBay, or you can hit Save Draft. If you hit Save Draft, it's just going to return you to the Draft List tab. Okay, and you just repeat the process for any of the items that you want to edit. The other thing that you can do, you can multiple select items. Okay, So you can multiple select or you can do a select all. So let's say I want to select all of them and I can click edit. If I do this, there are certain things that would apply to all of the listings that I selected that I can change in bulk. So those things would be like your duration, condition, category, weights and stuff shouldn't be applicable, but your shipping, PayPal email address, brand, handling time, shipping time, returns accepted or not, and you could save. So if you needed to change any of these things, like let's just say I wanted to change this to returns not accepted. So I would just click returns accepted and I would change this to no and I would hit save. Okay, so now that setting has been applied to all of the listings that were selected. And again, you can either check them off one by one if you just want to do a few and you can edit, or you can do a select all and edit. You can also delete items from the draft item list tab. If you no longer want to list the item, you can delete them. And when you're ready to submit this batch, you can either select the ones that you finished editing and you're ready to list by selecting them and hitting list, or you can do a select all to select everything on the page and then hit the list button. The other option is to click this little button. It looks like a little grid, but if you put your mouse over it, it says list. You can click that and list them one by one. The other option, this X, will delete the items off of your draft item list as well. So that's it. And once the items have been queued for listing, they are removed from the draft item list tab and you'll see them on your item list tab. And that's it really.